Bethany. Thank you for watching. I'm going to show you how to make a square wreath today, and you can make it with wild grapevines that you can find around. I live in Ohio, so I'm going to take you out back and show you my wild grapevines that are growing. And I'm doing this in winter because I don't really want to get poison ivy, and grapevines and poison ivy are like this. So I'm also going to make a wreath out of willow branches. I have a couple weeping willows and the branches are all over the ground right now, and I thought, well, maybe I can make a wreath out of those as well. I previously posted a DIY video on fabric flowers, which I will link below and you can find to make. You can also make the flowers into pins, boutonnieres, hair accessories, all kinds of fun things. But today we're going to make a wreath. They're great for children's rooms, nurseries, front doors, or areas on your wall that you'd like to put something unique and original. Be creative. Once you make the square wreath, you can go on Pinterest and find lots of other ways. You can do monograms, there are lots of different ideas. So you don't have to do the fabric flowers, but today I will show you how to make the wreath. You can make the wreath from wire, which you can purchase at a craft store or at a hardware store. If you're going to make a lot of them, go ahead and purchase wire at the hardware store. That way they're a lot cheaper. If you're only going to make one, just go ahead and go to the craft store and use a coupon and purchase what they have there. They do have square metal frames that you can do a wreath. For this project, you will need grapevines or willow branches, scrap fabric, either copper colored wire around 17 gauge, or because I'm using a bunch of wire I already had, I am spray painting the wire to be brown. You'll need a pair of scissors, a hot glue gun, and glue. If you don't have a hot glue gun, you could use super glue. It would just take a little longer. Some pieces of yarn or string, brown. You'll need wire cutters, or you can go to the store and buy a square wire wreath frame. So I'm using a whole bunch of wire that my husband bought for fencing. 17 gauge. As long as you get something close enough to the 17 gauge, you'll be fine. You'll have to decide how big you want your wreath. And if you want to measure this, you can, to make sure it's perfectly square, but that's kind of not what I like doing. To start making the wreath, you want to make sure that these are the ends. Each end, wrap it around the other piece. One of them you're going to go this way, starting by going in the square, and the other one is going to be the opposite. Then you'll take these and twist them around each other, and it's secure. Make sure that your wires are as straight as possible. Go in. Twist. Just twist them together until they're secure. Okay, I made this one too long, so I shortened it by twisting it around. And if you don't want to do any of this, just go to the craft store and buy a metal frame. I'll eyeball it. Or you can use a roller. Going back behind into the middle. This one I'm going into the middle, back behind. Twisting together. You don't have to make a square one, you can make any shape you want, but I think the square ones look much more modern for kind of a vintage tradition of wreath making. And I'm gonna go collect some grapevines off my fences and willow branches, and you want to make sure that they are thin enough that they will still bend. And if you do live grapevines, they will actually bend a whole lot easier. So if you do this in the summer, they'll be easier. So I'll be back. If you want to do a grapevine wreath and you don't have grapevines, put it on social media and you will probably have no trouble finding someone that has them. They're fairly intrusive. You can tell they're grapevines because they've got lots of little swirly things, but you can do this exact same process with willow branches and even with just thin sticks, which everybody has. Or if you don't want to make a wreath at all, you can go to the store and buy one. So what you'll do is start by putting the willow branch or the branches right here in one of the corners at the end. And you're just going to bend back and forth to one side until it's as thick as you want it to be. So just go back and forth, and because it's winter and they're dry, they do snap. Okay, so I've bent it around back and forth to get one side there. And then you're going to take one of the, well, you'll want to spray paint this first, but I'm going to leave it silver because I want you to be able to see. Take one of those extra ends and just wrap the wreath with the wire like that. And same thing, just take one of these ends and wrap. That's why you want these to kind of be longer. I should have made them a little longer. So there's one side, and if you have some branches that are kind of sticking out though, you don't want to cut them off or tear them off, and you'll just repeat that process for all four sides. So I made the willow square wreath, and it's pretty large and it looks pretty good, but I wanted to make sure that it was sturdy enough that when I have my hen party in a couple weeks and have lots of people coming, that it stays together. So I went ahead and purchased at the craft store some copper colored decorative wire. I'm just going to reinforce this wreath by winding wire around it one last time. Try to maybe go through the center about 3 times on each side. I think the willow branches are not quite as sturdy as the grapevine branches because they don't have all those little twirly-doos grabbing to each other. So if you were going to hang your wreath outside on your front door or somewhere where it's going to be exposed to the weather, you'll want to get clear spray paint and go ahead and spray the flowers before you put them on your wreath. That way they're nice and sealed. But your wreath is finished, but you want 2 branches to be the length one wreath side. So we've got one that is the entire length of one side of the wreath. And another. And then you'll just take the same fabric that is in strips, scrap fabric hopefully, and with your glue gun, put a little bit of glue, not all the way to the bottom, but pretty close. Secure that on there, and then just wrap it. And you will just tuck it into the front of one of the sides of the wreath. And that's why we didn't make the fabric go all the way, because it'd be much harder to tuck it in there. Okay, so you have that accent color going the length of one side of the wreath. And do that for one more side. I hope that you do get on Pinterest and come up with your own design. Be extra specially creative. Take this inspiration and come up with something a little different. Okay, with two sides done, it's time to do the flowers. And you can use either the same fabric as your flowers, which I'm doing denim. Cut up some old denim jeans. You'll need one little patch for each one of your flowers. Here's where you will take a piece of string or rope that matches the branches. Put some hot glue. Put that string centered so that's about the same length on both sides, and then put a piece of your fabric onto the back, nice and tight. Make sure it's not flapping, and then you will just tie it wherever you want it on your wreath, and you will just repeat that process for all your flowers. I like to tie triple knots, if that's a technical term, I don't know, but where I do a knot and I do one more extra hole. You can use super glue or hot glue right where you have that knot, maybe a little bit in the branches, that way it doesn't spin around on you. So again, I'll repeat this until I put them all where I want them to be. Liked this video. I hope you hit like for this video and that you subscribe to my channel and that you find other videos that inspire you to use the right side of your brain and to be interactive with other people and to give unique gifts and to make your home feel like a place that you're proud of and you want to host people. So share the sweetness of creativity.